Hi guys, Fire Plays here and welcome back to another YouTube video on my channel. And today guys, I'm going to be going over my massive grand final preview and my grand final predictions. Alright guys, so first of all there's gonna be like this kind of gonna be like two halves. So I'm gonna be talking the whole way through it. But it's gonna be my voice. And it is going to be, the first half is going to be a show where I analyse some stats and all that and some past games. And then the other is going to be the tips. Alright, so let's not waste any time. Let's just have a quick look at this slide. So you can see here I've got the two teams, Premiership Cup, who's playing, Grand Final, and the time zone. So I'll just quickly read them out. It's going to be on the Saturday, the 25th of September, 5:15 Australian Western Standard Time, 7:15 Australian Eastern Standard Time, and 6:45 Australian Central Standard Time. Let's go ahead and get right into the Grand Final show and the preview. Alright guys, and welcome to the grand final show. Who will win, Melbourne or the Western Bulldogs? You guys can let me know in the comment section. This is a very tough game to predict. They've both been so good each game this year. They've both been so good this year. It's going to be very tough to pick a winner. So I'll see you for the grand final show to get started. Alright guys, so before we hop into the real good stuff, we're going to go over the preliminary final recaps. So, in the preliminary final recaps, let's start with Melbourne and Geelong. So, it was played at Optus Stadium, and yeah, don't even need to talk about it. It was an absolute blowout. Melbourne looked so good, and they blew Geelong out by 83 points, which was pretty crazy in the end. Yeah, it was. I mean, look, I watched this game and definitely wasn't the best. And then you can see with the other one, Dogs blew Port out by 71 points. Again, watched the game and it wasn't any good. So yeah, both smashings, and they were both really interesting because like you were seeing how good both the teams were, the Melbourne and the Western Bulldogs. You were seeing how good they were. And yeah, after keeping these good quality teams, Geelong and Port, just into their 40s, something that's going on there. So, yeah, definitely the two best teams in the end to make it to the final, which is always a good thing to see. So, I'll see you on the next slide. So, now, here's where we have a closer look at Melbourne's final series. So, in the qualifying final, they defeated Brisbane by 33 points at the Adelaide Oval, which, look, they never really looked like they were going to drop that one, Melbourne, but they never looked like they were really going to smash Brisbane either. Brisbane competed, but just not enough in the end. So they got a week off through the prelim, which I've just explained, Melbourne by 83. So that's Melbourne's final series in a little bit more depth. But yeah, they've had a pretty good final series. They haven't really played a close game. They have been pretty clear in both of these games. So yeah, it was definitely a good thing for the D's, and that's why they are in the grand final. Now we go into the Western Bulldogs here. They had to work that. They had to go the long way. Elimination final, semi-final, through the preliminary final as well. Had to win all those games. So they smashed the Bombers by 49 in the game. They never looked like dropping either in that second half. In the first half, it looked like it could have been anyone's game, which it could have been, but the Bombers just kicked too many behinds. So the Dogs ended up walking over them. This was the best game of the final series by far. Brisbane and Western Bulldogs. Western Bulldogs won by 1. And this one was really tight, really close the whole way through. So that was definitely the best game of the final series, I'd say pretty easily. And then they went through the prelim and they smashed Port, which I've just been over that. But again, Dogs had to go the long way, but they made sure that it worked. And here they are. They weren't even allowed to train against Port, so they did a really good job for what they could only do. I'll see you on the next slide. Here is where we get nitty gritty now. So you can see here. Now for the key players here, I've gone with 3 key players on each position, not the ruckman, because of course the ruckman is key. Stephen Martin and Max Gawn are both great ruckmen. But I just want to let you guys know, Alex Keith would also be on here. But when I was making this video, Alex Keith didn't look like he was going to be playing, or I was unsure if he was playing, so I changed it to Caleb Daniel. And Stephen May, if he doesn't play, Jake Lever. So if Alex Keith doesn't play, it'll be Caleb Daniel. Just so you guys are all sure with that, so you guys will know that. So let's just go over from the defence. So for Melbourne, we'll start off with Melbourne. Stephen May, if he doesn't play, Jake Lever, but I think Stephen May should be playing. In the midfield, Clayton Oliver, he's going to be massive. I reckon he's looking light for the Brownlow. Christian Petracca, unlucky to miss out there. And then forward Bailey Fritsch, I reckon he can have a big day. For the defence line, I reckon Caleb Daniel will light things up for the Western Bulldogs. Bailey Smith has been great this final series in the middle for the Western Bulldogs, and Aaron Norton down forward should also be able to light things up for the Western Bulldogs. So I'll see you guys on the next slide. So here we go. If you missed out in the in the key players slide, here you go. You can get some redemption here. 4 players for each club get picked here. For each club, a few other big players. Mark Spontapelli, Jack McRae, Stephen Martin and Bailey Williams for the Western Bulldogs. I feel like they will have some massive games as well. And then for the Demons, Christian Petracca, Max Gawn, Christian Salem and Jack Viney. Both of these clubs have great depth all across the grounds. Definitely in the midfield though, so it's going to be a great midfield battle, and that's where everything is going to start. So I'll see you guys on the next. Alright, so having a look at the stats, we are going to start off with the Melbourne Demons. They are first in tackles, second in behinds, equal first in efficiency inside 50, which is good, and first in tackles inside 50. Also, this is a stat that I've literally just made up on the spot, but they would be very good for marking back in defensive 50 as well. They stop you from scoring. First in tackles inside 50. Like, look, they've been really good. They just don't let their defence. They just don't let their forwards always go to work. And for the Dogs, second in disposals, they like to clip the ball around. Third in tackles, they are a good tackling team, but the Ds are a little bit better. First in behinds, second in goals, equal first in efficiency inside 50, and second in tackles inside 50. You can see there's I might have missed a couple of stats, but like, yeah, one for the Ds would be like pressure acts in defensive 50. They are so good in their defensive 50, the Ds. So this is going to be a very good contest, and I'll see you guys on the next slide. So yeah, I just double-checked the stats, and there was nothing else there that Melbourne topped in all the Dogs. So past games this year, let's start off with round 11, Friday, May 28, 2021. Melbourne won by 28 in Indigenous rounds. And yeah, they really looked good the whole way through. The Dogs never really challenged them, and the Ds got a pretty comfortable victory there. Meanwhile, round 19, Saturday, July 24, 2021, the Dogs won by 20. And yeah, Cody Bateman took a huge mark of the year contender. And it was really good. It was a great mark for sure. But yeah, Ds just couldn't do enough in the end to hold off the Dogs. But it was always a close game there. Always a close game. Until the end, when the Dogs decided to, like, the Ds never really looked like they were going to really come to frighten them, but you get what I mean. It was close, but at the same time, the Dogs had a little bit of a comfortable lead. That's kind of what the game was. Now we get into the fun part. We get to go into the grand final tips. So you guys, again, can let me know in the comments section, who do you think will win, why, first goal scorer, last goal scorer. If you want, I'll be putting my first and last goal scorer in the comments section. Let's get into tips. So I know that you guys already all know this again, but just take a hot minute to read this. I'll read them out to you. Margin comp rules. At the end of the video, which is now, I will choose a game that you guys will be tipping on in the comments. That's Dogs and Ds. Enter for the first bounce of the game. No edits or comments. You can only enter once. Winners will get a shout out. Next tipping video, I'll make a tipping video dedicated to a grand final review, and then the shout outs will be in there. You must be subscribed to enter, and if you guess the closest or correct margin, you win. So, yep, that's going to be interesting. And yes, so let's get into the grand final tip. Margin comp game, Dogs and Ds. Let me know who wins in the comment section, and time to get into the tips. Alright guys, so no music for this one. I'm actually going to be talking Melbourne versus Western Bulldogs. I reckon it's going to be a very scrappy first quarter. Melbourne are going to be missing a lot of their shots, and the Dogs aren't going to get a lot of chances. I reckon Melbourne will be leading 23-14 at quarter time. I reckon it's going to be a very, very tight contest early. Even though the Ds have a 9-point lead at the first break, I feel like it's going to be a quite exciting contest. At half-time, I feel like the scoring is going to ease up more. I feel like there's going to be more scoring chances, especially for the Western Bulldogs to go from 14-41. 39-41 at half-time, with the Dogs leading by 2. Ds on 39, Dogs on 41. I reckon the Dogs are going to get a couple of goals out of the middle. The Ds, they go from 23 to 39, so they only kick 2 goals that quarter. But I feel like, yeah, the Dogs will get a lot more of their chances in the second quarter. But it's still going to be a very tight contest, though. At At 3/4 time, I predict Melbourne 74, Western Bulldogs 70. Again, I feel like it's going to be really, really, really tight. It's going to be such a tight contest here. And I feel like that the Dogs will be down at 3/4 time by 4 points. I feel like the D's again will be, but it's going to be a very high scoring quarter this one, because I think the D's go from 39, Dogs go from 40. So it's a lot. There is definitely a lot of scoring in the third quarter. Now, 15 minutes left. I reckon both teams get a couple of quickies on their term to really start things off. It's still going to be very physical, aggressive. It's going to be very tight in this final term. It's going to be a very even final term, is what I reckon. I reckon it's going to be a tight match, however. With 10 minutes to go, I predict the Dogs will be up by 3 points. Demons 88, Dogs 91. Again, it's going to be such a tight contest. It's going to be such a great last quarter, I reckon. I think it's going to be very close. I don't think this one will be a blowout, even though the finals series this time have been blowouts, but I think it is going to be very close. With 5 minutes to go, I predict the D's to be up by 2, 95-93, in a very, very tight contest. That literally just like never stops. It's going to be such a tight contest right till the very end, right down to the wire grand final. In 3 minutes, the goals came thick and fast for both clubs, but I have the Dogs leading by 4 points. With 2 minutes to go, what's going to happen here? 2 minutes to go, Dogs up by 4, 101-105, so I do predict both teams will get into the 100s. There you have it, full time. Melbourne 113, Bulldogs 111. I reckon the D's will win this year's grand final by 2 points. The drought has broken. The 57-year drought has broken for the Melbourne Footy Club, and they get a win. They get a grand final win, and man, they will be loving it. Here you go, if you're a Demon fan, half the page of the Demons logo. Man, well, probably 2/3 or something like that of the Demons logo right here. So you love this. Premiership Cup right next to it. Melbourne Demons are the 2021 AFL Premiers full-time. Melbourne 113 full-time. Western Bulldogs 111. So the D's win it by 2 points. This one is going to be an epic grand final, I can just tell. My Norm Smith medal is Christian Petracca. I feel like he is going to have a day out. He's going to get over 30 disposals, and I reckon he can get 2+ goals as well. I reckon he's going to have a big day for the Melbourne Demons in Optus Stadium, so he will win the Norm Smith medal. And yeah, the D's have won the premiership this year. That's my prediction. Of course, here, having a look back at the finals pathway, let's go through the finals. So, qualifying final 1, Melbourne defeating Brisbane, they go through to a prelim. The Dogs defeating the Dons, so they will go through to a semi-final to face the Lions, who lost to Demons. Elimination final 2, Sydney, GWS win, and they'll go face on the Port defeat Geelong, so Geelong go and face GWS. Geelong beat GWS, which means they go through to a preliminary final. The Dogs beat the Lions, which means they go through to a preliminary final. The D's and the Dogs beat Geelong in the Power, and then the D's beat the Dogs in the grand final. Those are my predictions. It's been an epic final series, but the only two games that have been really close so far have been the elimination final 2 between the Swans and the Giants, and semi-final 1 between the Dogs and the Lions. Swans, Giants, Dogs, Lions have been the close games, but I reckon this grand final will be close. And then, of course, shout out to the winners from the preliminary finals. So, I actually guessed the closest margin for the Melbourne won by 83. I said Melbourne by 51, so I was still a long way off. And then Western Bulldogs by 21. Epic Doggo 69 says shout out to you, Epic Doggo, and shout out to Shannon Humphreys. Melbourne by 35 because I needed another winner. And you're also pretty close with the D's one as well, Epic Doggo. But yeah, there we have it. Those are the shout-outs. Next week will be a finals review, and then the shout-out for the winners who guess the closest or correct margin for the grand final. Alright guys, so this is the Mega Grand Final preview and the Grand Final tips. So let me know in the comments who wins the Premiership, Melbourne or the Western Bulldogs, and who wins the Norm Smith medal. So I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you guys will be notified when more videos come out. That's it from me now guys, so bye guys! fire plays out. And also, well, yeah, just let me know in the comment section who you think is going to win. Let me know if it's going to be close or not. But I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys will be notified when more videos come out. That's going to be it from me now, guys. So, bye, guys. Fire plays out.